Welcome back to the Let's Talk Business podcast. I'm your host, James Price. And today we've got a man of business and also a man of life. And I'm really intrigued to have a chat with this fellow. It's episode 33, and I have with me Matt Gamble. Matt, welcome.
Thank you, man. Pleasure to be here.
Not much of an intro. I'm actually going to put a hard question on you, man, just straight up front.
It's all good.
Introduce Matt Gamble. Who's Matt Gamble?
Oh, good question. That's a hard one. Matt Gamble, he's someone that, just wants to do his best.
Yeah?
And I just feel like, if I can show up daily, do my best, keep my girls proud, tie in with community. I don't know, that's a big thing for me. Like
Yeah.
especially the last couple of years of just people, like you can just learn so much from people, good, bad, and indifferent, you know? And just do my family proud, do everything that I can do at the best of my ability, learn my lessons while I'm on this journey, enjoy the ride, and go with wherever the wind wants to blow me, that's for sure.
Yeah, love it. But very modest, eh? So you're a business founder of G3 Fitness. You're from Western Syd. Are you from Western Syd?
Kingswood.
Yeah. Kingswood
High School.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lived in Cox Avenue on near St. Dom's.
Right.
Yeah. Lemon Grove.
Yeah. Travel past there pretty regularly myself, actually,
Yeah.
but not as well trod as you would have made it.
Yeah.
And I guess you seem to be passionate about life, health and fitness. Would that be a fair characterization?
Yeah. It all started when I was younger and being a bit of a bigger kid, and just just growing up insecure, feeling like obviously like not much bullying, but like just that feeling of like you would crack the joke about being fat before someone else.
Yeah.
Like just so you felt comfortable, it's sort of like you put that defense up.
Yeah.
So that was sort of the stuff there. And then just growing up, I remember I was sitting with mum and just watching The Biggest Loser.
Yeah.
And I just said, can you imagine being like one of those guys? And I was finishing year 10 and had no idea where I wanted to go. And she's like, well, you could find a place to learn how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So
right.
that was sort of like where the penny dropped in regards to that. And I remember watching it with mum, and we both got emotional watching the guy get emotional on the show about losing all this weight. And I was just like, can you imagine that being like your job?
Yeah.
She's like, well, you can do that, And then backtracking a little bit, that was in year 10, but during high school, obviously started playing sport, start going to the gym, feeling better about myself, getting addicted to that feeling of knowing that I can actually do something to better myself. And then that's where the penny dropped with that.
So who was your driver in that? Was it your mum and that Biggest Loser, or was it some people around you, or was it just you?
It was that was the confidence that I needed of like, you could do that. Like, let's try and enroll you in a course and get you to like, just do the course for yourself. And I think that took the pressure off of like, just because I was a sponge when it came to fitness. Once I started to lose weight, get more confident, feel comfortable, that became that addiction, which is a good thing to a degree. So you don't go too far the other way. But, and then, once I started to learn that I could do this course, that's where it was like, and then I couldn't get into the first semester at Kingswood TAFE.
Yeah.
The second semester come around, and I missed out again. Sorry, the first semester started, and then during the second semester, I tried to get in. This is how the crazy the universe works. It's supposed to be. Mum got a job doing bookkeeping for this guy. 3 weeks after the books closed and we couldn't get in.
Yeah.
Mum's doing his books, and he said, oh, you got kids? And Mum's like, yeah, my son wanted to do course at Kingswood TAFE. He just missed out, but it's all good. And he's like, I know the lady that runs that. Leave her with me.
Yeah, right.
She had that job for 3 weeks during that period.
Wow.
And she was just helping out. She found it in the yellow pages. Got me in, and that's when I knew it was like, you shouldn't even be here, but you are, so let's do something.
Do you believe that things happen for a reason? Or do you believe that you create things that happen?
I feel like there's a mixed blend. I feel like there's no such thing as a coincidence. I feel like there's lessons behind everything.
Yeah.
When it comes to everything in your life, you can find like a little silver lining and go, oh, okay, I can see why that sort of moved in that direction.
Yeah.
But with that being said, moving in a direction, for me, I'm big on energy. So moving in an energetic way of like, I want to get to this destination.
Yeah.
If I just instill some practices and some tools and move in a certain way, I'm a big believer the universe will match that frequency and that energy, and that will bring forward whatever's meant for me. So just, between the faith and consistency, but also knowing that, there's no such thing as a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason, and accepting when things don't move your way. It's like,
So how do you do that? Because my sense is like expectation is a big thing today.
Yeah.
And the dreaded social media, love it and hate it, it has done things to heighten expectations. So it's tricky when things don't fall the way one has hoped. Yeah. Do you see that in people that you're around, that expectation sometimes drives kind of difficulty in dealing with the world?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Massively. The thought about other people's thoughts is a killer. It's a dream killer.
Yeah.
It kills dreams. The thought of me putting myself out there, thinking about what other people are thinking, crushes dreams. And it's sad. And it's just the way it is. But if you can understand that your thoughts about other people's thoughts about you is all one big cloud.
Yeah.
It's all one big airy fairy thing, and you can't control the way the other people think about you.
Yeah.
You put your thoughts into the way you feel about yourself and the people that love you, and keep it very simple.
Yes. Yes.
Because trying to box people in, like, I hope that person thinks that of me, or if I post that, are they going to think this? You know what? Can you swear on this podcast? No,
you can swear. You can swear as much as you like.
No one gives a fuck.
Of course.
Nobody actually gives a fuck.
Yeah.
But you think they do, Yeah.
And
I think that's where it's a killer, where it's like people either are just, it crushes dreams, and that's where it's, for me anyway, now I've got this thing with social media is that I try my hardest to have long stints off it, whether it's like 14, 16 hours. I'll finish at 8 p.m. and then I say intentionally I'm not going to go until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because in that period I can be very intuitive of not worrying about what other people think.
Yeah.
But even if you don't even realize, subconsciously in the back, there's this little thing
ticking away.
Oh, look at that person. You went to school with them. Look what they're doing.
Yeah.
Look at how big that
Isn't that
is.
amazing?
Yeah. And that even if you don't even realize it, it's like this filter. You get off social media and automatically feel at a state of lack.
Yes.
If you haven't put yourself in a good enough energy to be on social media. That's why I give myself the morning off.
Yeah.
So by the time I check it, it's like I'm watching myself watch the screen, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
I'm watching myself watch the screen going, oh, look at that. That would have triggered you. Oh, look at that person liking that. Oh, they commented there. Oh, look at you. And then I can just, it's like I've got a bit of a distance between it. I'm not thinking that's me.
But, like I'll just add a parallel there around business. The very best business owners, in my estimation, are the ones that can do that from a business perspective. They can sit themselves up here, at arm's length from themselves and what's going on in the business.
Yeah.
And they can observe and they say, what the fuck are you doing that for? Why is that the way it is? How is that? Why is that happening? Why is it performing that way? But they're removed. And then they can come down and play a role, right? So it's a very important skill. It's a life skill, as you've articulated, to do with social media, but it's also a really important business skill.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do, right? Because, physical state's here.
Yeah.
I'm in the chair, believe it or not. but it's it's a way of taking a holistic view of what's going on in your biz. Speaking about biz, when did you first think to yourself, I want to get into business?
Once I was doing my TAFE course, I got the job at Wellbeing, and it was just a cleaner. I had to finish my certificates before I started PT, and it was my first ever job. And I remember just being like, if you're cleaning treadmills and talking to people and packing away weights, you just be the best you can at it.
Love it.
Just be the best you can at it. Scrub the shit out of those treadmills.
Yeah.
So I did, and I just became the best at it, instilled this work ethic within myself of like, just show up and give 100% and just sponge in everything. So Mark Rich was like such a massive part of my life in regard of just fast tracking my growth.
Yes.
And then I was there for about 2 or 3 years as just working for World Gym. And then the penny dropped of like building building a business called G3 Fitness.
Really?
Yeah. And my business partner at the time, Aiden Ghazi, who's now the glute guru.
Yes.
Yeah. He was just finishing his certificates. And he said to me, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm like, why don't we run like boot camps and stuff? And he's like, well, my last name's Ghazi. Your last name's Gamble. We want to work at a gym. Why don't we call it G3 Fitness?
Yeah.
And as he was studying, and apparently it's still on the desk to this day, at
Really?
the TAFE 10 years later, there's G3 Fitness engraved in one of the tables.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Someone that did their certificates, I think maybe last year, the year before,
Yeah.
took a photo and said, what's this? And Aiden said, when we worked out that we're going to do this, I instilled it in the table. So,
And it lives on.
and it lives on. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. So then, yeah, he came to World Gym and we started G3 Fitness, Gamble Ghazi Gym.
Lovely.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, was it that you didn't want to work for others, or it's just that you had a dream that wasn't replicated in what you were doing and you thought, why not do this for ourselves?
yeah, a mix of that and also finances. It's got to the point where there was that much, because I only got a set of commission off World Gym for my numbers, and my numbers were skyrocketing. Once again, just instilled that habit, no word of a lie, 12, 13 hours a day, like PT one-on-one, just show up. But I enjoyed it. It was like, it wasn't hard being around people. Yeah. Oh, like even the short gaps between, finish at 9, back at 5. Like it was like, what are you talking about? I get paid for this?
But what did you like most about it?
Just the people that I was connecting with. Like you had your people that you'd start the session, you could tell they're in a mood and you're like, fuck, this is going to be a long hour. But it was like, it took like 3 years for me to actually realize like, this is your job and you get paid for it. Because I was just having so much of a fun time.
Really?
Literally. And I don't know now, having this conversation, it was like I wasn't selling anything. I just wanted to be here. And I think that's when people were like, I want to be around this guy because he actually gives a fuck about me. And you can tell that that's his drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the business conversation happened. And then it gave me an opportunity to free up my hours.
Yes.
Being my own, a sole trader, as you'll call it.
Yeah.
So then once we started the business, we started the boot camps, and then me and Aiden just went on this journey together for 6 years at World Gym, I think it was.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
together, boot camps at Jamison Park. And it was such a good time. We always talk about that. It was so fun. Like we'd be there laughing on the floor with our clients, similar to Christian and Clayton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That same energy.
Yeah.
They care. And that's what people want. Just show me you care.
Yeah.
And I will pay you because I want you to be in my corner.
So don't focus on sales. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to sell if you're showing care and compassion and you're making a difference.
The sales will come from I feel as though I'm a massive, and this is one thing I've had to learn because it's been a very difficult couple of years post-COVID, especially with 4,000 gyms in Penrith. But that's one thing I noticed is like, show people you genuinely care because you do. You need to feel that you care.
Yes.
And everything else will play out the way it's supposed to. Not that you don't worry or focus on it. Like obviously business is business, money is money. You got to pay the bills. But show people you care to know that that energy will be paid back to you through abundance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So put yourself in an abundant state, make people feel comfortable, make people feel heard, see results. The money will come. People will be like, I just need to be here. How much is it?
Yeah.
Don't care. Let me be here. Yeah.
So you build a brand. G3 is quite a well-known brand, right? And a number of physical gyms representing it. How hard was it to build that brand? And when did you realize that actually G3 was a brand and it was a well-known brand and what it stood for?
So once we did the G3 Fitness at World Gym, and once again, it got to, I think it just, I sort of like would hit the roof on things and be like, I'm not like, I can continue doing this, but do I want to continue this or do I need some sort of thing to test me? So then F45 came out.
Yes.
And we had boot camp across the road at Jamison Park, and they've taken all our members and put a boot camp in a room during winter. And I remember me and Ada would be running, be like, there's another member going over there. Like they put it in a room, and I was just like, all good, continue doing what you're doing. And then once I had 2 clients rock up at the same time by accident.
Yes.
And one of them, it was 8 and 9, and they both came at 8, and they were both doing legs, and they didn't know each other. And I was like, okay, I can make this work. Do you guys want to just pay half price to train together? Sweet. End of the session, they both turned around and said, we'll do this again.
Yeah, right.
Like,
we enjoyed it. Yeah.
And then that's when the penny dropped. And I was like, what if I build a place where people can come to like this?
Yes.
Because I was capped, like to the point someone would email, I need a PT. I'd be like, I've got 11 a.m., 12, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Because I'm working 5 to 11 and I'm working 3 to 9. I can't work. I'm at work. I'm like, and I felt guilty then of like knocking back. Oh, I'll do Saturday afternoon at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So then that's when the penny dropped. And it was such a crazy thing. I was only with Janae for 3 weeks. And I told Janae I want to build a gym. Like, I think I can make it work. I've got this vision. I don't know. I just know it feels right. And straight away, once again, that backing, let's do it. She was a school teacher at the time. We were together for 3 weeks.
Wow.
6 figures we had to put on the table. And she goes, let's do it. I'm in.
So that's taking risks, right? A lot of people think they'd like to go into business, and some are in business, but they need to go to the next level. But often the risk is hard to figure out, right? Was it a calculated risk or was it a big jump?
It felt too right.
Yeah, okay.
Like I'm very, and that's the last, as I get older, it's all feeling now. Does this feel right? Should I be, like when I
So was it coming from your gut?
It was coming from my gut. It felt too right to not do it, you know? Yeah. And I said to all my clients, I said, if I can build a place, instead of paying $65 an hour, you can pay that a week. Come at what time suits you.
Yes.
But the only thing is you don't get me one-on-one. That's the only difference. I'll still motivate. I'll still count. I'll still put everything you want that you pay for. Every single one of them said yes. So the backing of Janae and those clients, knowing that I only needed X amount of clients and I would have nearly been there if everyone said they were coming across, that was enough for me to go, let's put our balls on the line and give this a crack.
So I want to talk about Janae briefly. She's not here, so we can say what we like, can't we? But firstly, I want to ask you, in the context of your business career, and thinking about at that stage particularly, but now as well, what are 3 things that you would class as being absolute strengths of Matt Gamble, do you think?
Knowing that if you move with good intentions, it'll work.
Mm-hmm. That's number 1, yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, if I asked Janae what those strengths were, what would she say? If it makes that easy.
Yeah. Well, no, it's probably harder.
she doesn't have any to say.
Nah, just a leadership. Like I feel like I'm a very good leader. I feel like I'm very genuine in knowing that I can lead from the front.
Yes.
And it's like,
yes.
You know,
yes.
and and just that strength of knowing that, like, I think what biggest thing for me when it came to that business side of things is knowing that I'm loved even if it doesn't work. I think that's where like a lot of people go like, if this doesn't go right, will people not like me? Where I was like, Janae's like, I'm backing you. Like my mum backed me, like Mark backed me. Yeah. Like you just get those people that back you, you know?
So thinking about Janae, what are the weaknesses that she helps you with?
Logic.
Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes I can live in we're just one big community and we all just sit around and we hug and it's all good. And she's like, oh, really? How's that work for you? In some cases.
So the hard questions.
She asked me the hard questions of like, okay, do you want to, because I feel like sometimes wanting to help people, you should just be a guide for people.
Yes.
Helping people can sometimes, it needs to be effortless, where sometimes I like to make it effort because I like to give. So sometimes she's like, do you really want to go down that path? Because energetically, do you think you can maintain that?
Yeah.
How about you just effortlessly help this person in this direction? Like, do you really need to have this? Like, so and I go, oh yeah, you're right. Well, if I just do this, then that's going to help them. So she's very logic, which is good, but she understands the person that I am. She goes, I get it. She'll say that first. I get it. You want to help, all good, but let's be real. Is this working?
So are you someone that potentially, you know, using the food analogy, you'll order from every menu section rather than just the entree?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going for the full feast. And it's all good. She's like, but you don't eat that. I'm like, yeah, but trust me, if we just get it, it'll be sweet. Yeah. So she's very logic, which is good, but she's got the understanding of knowing, I know that this is what you're passionate about, this, that. So she was very logic when it came to building the brand. Like she's legit, like, you know, you could say face of G3's me, but she's the glue that keeps it all together. We would not be where we are if it wasn't for her.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, she was the one that just put processes and systems in place,
Yeah.
got it going. And it was such a blessing because like we had kids, she had the opportunity to be at home with them and just do the back end work, you know,
Yes.
and like we've never missed a beat when it comes to that stuff,
Yeah.
you know, and seeing the kids growing up in the gym and it's like a little jungle gym for them and all of that was just, great. So
What's the hardest thing about setting up a business in Western Sydney, do you think, if you reflect on where you are today?
now or back then?
Oh, probably now. Yeah.
Now would be social media
Yes.
because there's so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Netflix, there's too many options. Like just give me 5 options. Back then, I built a good name in the area. So once G3 was built, I had a lot of people coming through
Yes.
that just knew the person I was.
Yeah.
But in regards to building a business, it needs to be passionate and people need to feel that you're enjoying this the most. Like you need to love your business more than anyone else.
Is that how, because you said there's 4,000 gyms in Western Sydney, but there's a lot, right? It's a very competitive world. And it is in other industries too in this town. But is that how you differentiate yourself?
Yes, and understanding that it doesn't need you. I think people have this perception of like you just build a gym and it's all great. It's like, man, it's not. It's hard work. Like I say to these G3 owners or gym owners in general,
Yes.
it's a whole different beast.
Yes.
It's very easy to go and pay rent at a gym and do your work and go. You get to go home and just block it off. When you own a gym, you got rent, you got mortgages, you got quotas, you got everything. It sometimes is a bit much, and that's okay too. You know, some people, it just, if you work at a gym and you're the best gym owner, a PT ever, and you still taking probably the same amount of money home as you were, but you just don't have that gym. But you know, so it is difficult, but it's if it feels right, and you're not gonna know unless you try as well. You know, so
yeah. What about? I mean, you're not a one-man band, right? You've got a bunch of people around you in these gyms. Is it hard to get your team feeling and doing the same with the same passion and effort as yourself?
Not if you show them that feeling of knowing that it's like their home as well. You know, like that's for me anyway. It's like if you guys aren't going to ever build a gym and own it, I want you to feel like this is yours.
Yeah, right.
You know, and not in the sense of like this is home, do whatever you want. It's like feel what it feels like to do what you got to do best. And that's where it's like being very selective on trainers and people involved in the business because I do have such a strong attachment to G3. Which I'm learning over the years. I'm letting go of more and more, which has been great, of just letting people come in and do your thing. And just knowing that they feel the feelings I feel about just being here, you know,
Have you, sorry to cut you off, but have you got to have a lot of trust to do that?
Yeah, and it does take time, but once again, it feels right. Like the trainers I've gotten, it just felt right, and they've just done their thing, and you give them an opportunity, and you let go more and more. And you just let them do their thing. And, you know, and that's the thing. Sometimes you got to have conversations of certain things, but if they know where you're coming from, it's not, you don't point and do that. Like I'm still vacuuming the floors. I'm still cleaning the treadmills.
Well, you learn how to clean in that first
Exactly.
job, right?
Yeah.
So you should,
I don't know if
so you should be.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing too. They see, like even the members, I jump in all the sessions. All my trainers jump in the sessions because it's like the system is a system that we love and we would be doing this even if we weren't here.
So thinking about a trainer that you're going to employ, what are the 3 things that you might look for to make a good selection? Do you think?
They need to show that they give a fuck. Like, I understand that this is a job and you're going to get paid for it, and you need money. We all need money. We've all got bills. No one is free of that.
Yeah.
But do you genuinely want to feel that feeling of watching this person transform?
Yeah.
Does that do something to your body when this person comes up to you and says, "You don't understand how grateful I am for you"?
Yeah.
And that is a driving force. And it doesn't need to be the top driving force. It might just be a job, but you need to show people that you actually care and just, be here and be present.
Yeah.
Obviously, friendliness, like people, like the gym's one thing, but this day and age with everything that people have going on in their lives, people just want to feel safe. So can you be present to give these people time to just let them tell you how they feel?
Yeah, right.
Whether it's they're talking shit about the weekend or the wedding or they got their hair done or whatever, let them just be there.
So you got to show an interest, right,
Yeah.
to be doing that, haven't you?
But an interest in people,
Yes.
not necessarily fitness.
No, so a curiosity in an individual. Yeah.
Because people want to be heard these days, as much as they don't want it. Everyone wants to be seen, loved, cared for, noticed. It makes you feel good.
Yes. Yes.
So giving these people an opportunity of like, how was that wedding you went to?
Yeah.
This person remembered I went to a wedding. Did you get your hair done?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Actually, by the way.
Yeah, not me.
Oh, yeah? No. But I got mine done this morning, right? I went to this new barbershop in Mount Druitt. I think it's called the Universal Barbershop.
Heard of them?
Yeah. Have you heard of them? Shout out to the boys.
Yeah, shout out.
Jess and others at the shop. I mean, it's great to see new business, in Western Sydney.
100%.
And the lads, they've got a sharp looking shop.
Yeah, I haven't been down there yet, but I've seen the photos and it looks fresh.
It's very fresh, just like my haircut.
Yeah.
But no, that's good. So the third thing, I interrupted you, but you may have covered it. So you've got to give a shit.
Yeah.
And you've got to take an interest.
Yeah.
Anything else that you'd look for in a recruit?
And if we're going to go more gym related, obviously form and motivation as well. Like, and feel that you want to be there, because regardless of like, if I'm telling you here right now, I want to be here, but I don't feel like I want to be here, the words are irrelevant. You can feel someone's energy if they want to actually be in your presence, or, and we've had like over the years, even I've gone through ebbs and flows of like, all right, guys, we're done now. And just this energy of like, come on, get out. Like, come on, we're done here. I've got to go home. And it's like, that's the difference between, G3s. Yeah. To, you got to go.
Yeah.
Like,
it's different. It's special. It's
100%. And that's one thing I'll try, and I'm an on the ball person. I like to be, so sometimes I'll have to dial it back and be like, just be here.
Yeah.
Don't worry about tomorrow morning's workout. Like, don't worry about setting up tonight. It's all good. Just be here with everyone, So
does that mean that sometimes as a business owner, you have to dial back on the vision and be closer to today?
Yeah. Massive.
Yeah.
And it's good to have targets. Like, we've got targets, and it's ebbs and flows. Member count goes up and down. Once upon a time, I was so attached to those numbers. Now I've let go of those numbers. They are what they are.
Yeah.
10 members sign up, 14 cancel. It's a you never leave. You never burn a bridge as well. Like, when people leave, I'm like, I get it. It's all good. We need breaks. Everyone's got gym memberships everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just know that I care about you, and I hope that you continue on this journey. 9 times out of 10, they come back because of that feeling, But we need variety. Sometimes you need to see what it's like elsewhere to know what it felt like when you were at a certain place and stuff like that. So,
But was it hard to get to that mindset,
so
right?
hard. Fuck, it's been years, man. Like, it's a process. Like, I have other G3 owners that go through different lessons, and they'll express to me where they're at, and I'll go, it's like I go back to year 2 and I'm like, I remember that lesson. Yeah, I remember when I had to detach from those numbers, or I remember when I was so worried about everyone liking everything, So you get that one comment of like, I don't know if I like that workout. And you're like, fuck, I've got to change the whole thing. It's like, bro, 20 people just said they loved it. One person didn't. Like, maybe they're having a shit day, So I think, it's just a constant letting go of all those stories you've told yourself.
Well, it's gaining perspective, I guess. But my sense of it is that you've developed an internal mechanism to do that quite cleverly. I mean, I presume it doesn't happen 100% of the time, but is that how it feels? Like you've, over time you've learnt from learning and learnt again, and then looked back and started to calibrate where you need to be, what you need to be focusing on. Yeah,
100%. Even the lessons that were so difficult to move through, I mean, COVID, one of them, things in business that happened. Like you look back on it and I'm like, oh, this is all just instilled this maturity within my body because I remember when we opened and then there was another gym opening and everyone's like, oh, did you hear about that gym opening? I'll never forget I didn't sleep that night.
Yeah, right.
I was on their Instagram probably more than they were. So I'm like, fuck, what if they take everyone? So now just be there with your members. Why are you worrying about this? This was like year one,
Yeah.
And then another gym opens and then you just let go of it more and more, another gym. And then like to the point where people are like, oh, there's another gym open. I'm like, well, if I've had 20, 30 gyms open after me, I must be doing something right.
Yeah.
Just stay there, be there with them,
Are there some big things you'd do differently? I mean, G3, how old's G3? It's a bit over 10 years.
So G3 brand is 10 years, over 10 years, I think 12 years. And G3 Fitness Penrith will be 7 in the start of the year. So, 6.5 it is.
So if you look back there, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of little things that on reflection in a different environment you might do differently. But is there any big things that you would retake knowing what you know now?
Can't say I would.
No.
Just I feel like I've just done a full circle. When I first opened, it was like, oh my God, I've got a gym. How is this? And that energy was like vibrant. People just wanted to be there because we're all just like, how is this? What?
Yeah.
So I've done a full circle and I feel like I'm just back to there. Once again, simplifying everything. Do your marketing, like give people good energy, good workouts, do your marketing, do all the business stuff that needs to be done.
Yes.
But that's not the core of it. The core of it is, are you enjoying yourself? Are you enjoying these people company? Are you giving them the best service possible? Because if you're not, that's where you need to start,
So are those questions you're constantly asking yourself, or are you asking others around you as well?
I don't ask others. I can feel it that they're just enjoying being there.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I can feel that everyone wants to stay after a class and just talk and just catch up and that family feeling. Because, we can't pick our family. We've all got whoever we've got, which is totally fine. But this opportunity, you got another family that actually cares.
Yes.
That's like-minded like you.
Yeah.
Why am I different? Why am I like this? And if you got your mum being like, just eat that. Why don't I understand? Why are you on a meal plan? You go, like, why are you running all the time? Blah, blah, but you're around people that do it. And like, I don't want to go out and party till 11 o'clock at night. I want to get up and do the run club Sunday morning, It's okay to be like this. You're not weird. Yeah. We're like you. We get it, So being around those like-minded people at 4:30 in the morning, like G3 this morning it was 4:44. And I had 30 people on the floor laughing, talking shit about how tired they are.
What is wrong with those people?
I
honestly?
know, exactly. And I'm there laughing and I'm like, and it was like, everyone looks and I'm like, I've got this look on my face of like, and they're like, are we going to start? I'm like, fuck, I love this place. Yeah, and everyone just starts laughing. It's just like, what are we doing here? Like there's a crazy guy out on the street at 4 a.m. on High Street and we're in here laughing. It's freezing and, and that's where it's like, it just makes it, the workout's one thing, but that is the core of it. They need to feel like this is just one big home and one big family.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I don't know whether I got this sort of perspective right. I mean, I don't have any stats to prove it. I guess I could find them. But health, fitness, wellbeing, I feel like it was a satellite planet for many years. But it almost feels like it's part of Earth now.
Yeah.
Am I right? Or, like our lives seem to be affected by so many other things, but it seems that there's more people gravitating to answers within that realm. Is that what you feel?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah?
Yeah. I feel like that people are starting to realize that if they don't move their bodies, you got to think about it. When we train and we're going through a difficult workout or we're doing the run, we're at the river and we're trying to finish the river or we've got 30 burpees at the end of a workout, you don't have time to think about your shit.
No.
You are thinking about moving through the task that's in hand. Get out of your head, get into your body. My body feels like I want to stop right now, but I've just got to keep going because I got told I've got 10 more burpees left. I've got to get to that orchard because that's where the river run stops. Or my trainers were like, you know, and I think people more and more are starting to realize they've got to get out of their heads into their bodies.
Yes.
Because it gives you time to just break free from all those thoughts that you've had. And then once you return back and you leave and you leave and you look at those things and you're like, it's not so heavy, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I opened G3, I seen a Jim Carrey quote and it was like, the reason why Jim Carrey does comedy is because he frees people from concern.
Yeah.
The reason he started comedy is so Liar, Dumb and Dumber, all these, The Mask.
Yeah.
He would have people come into those movie theaters with whatever shit they've got going on in their life.
Yeah.
And before they even arrive to the movie theater, it's like they're energetically knowing that they get to remove themselves from the bullshit. So they're unplugging as they're going into the theater.
Yeah.
Watch the movie, ha ha ha, big laugh, come back, plug it back in and go, oh, doesn't feel as tight. You know?
Yeah.
So I remember that has been a quote that I've lived by since G3 opened, where it's like give people an opportunity to be free from concern.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, and that's, I do agree with you. It is becoming a thing where people are like, wow, if I just go for a run or do a workout or do something and move, I can actually get out of this constant thought or whatever it is. So.
Yeah, look, I'm convinced of that. I think in business, it's a mainstream thing. Like you've got to look after your mind and body and spirit because no one else will, and also it makes for good, healthy decisions. Like as humans, and I often say this to my podcast guests, and we talk about it. I think we were talking about robots this morning, but I think humans have got a lot of potential that's not yet shown. And if we can have strong, healthy minds and bodies, we might be surprised what we can do. So robots, watch out, you know. But it's surprising what you can achieve, in business and personally. But Matt, talking about minds, you seem a very spiritual man. Is that Matt Gamble? Yeah. And has that always been the case?
It's always been there, but it was very pushed back. Only the last 3 years it's sort of come to the forefront of like looking back on my life. Like my mum is fairly spiritual, so she's always had that in stuff within her, but never pushed anything.
Yes. But
the last couple years it's really like sunk in of like spirituality for me, well-being, peace. Like, you know, we can make $4 million and have 25 houses, but if you don't have peace and you don't feel love and you don't feel compassion and empathy, what's that? You know?
Yeah. So when did it come about? When did you sort of come of age in terms of spirituality?
Yeah, well, they say it's like an awakening. It can happen at the age of 30. Like there's a lot of research wrapped around the age of 30, you sort of move into a different realm. It's like the first 30 years of your life is trying to become somebody. And then 30 years onwards, it's about becoming nobody. And it's crazy because it's so true.
Yeah.
It's like all these years growing up, it's like fighting for that. Look at me, and you just go to great lengths and attach to all these stories. Like, I'm the man. I got this, I got that. I hope they think this of me, but it's just a cup with a hole in it. The second you leave that feeling, like even bodybuilding for me was that big look at me, you know?
Yes.
And then it'll be like, oh man, you look good. Walk off. And I'm like, oh yeah, I look good. And now I don't. Like, you know, and then, it was only 3 years ago around COVID time. That's when it sort of happened, the awakening, you could call it, of just waking up and realizing that there's more to this world than what I can see, you know, and that put me on a whole different path, which I did not think in my wildest dreams I'd go down, but I have, and I've just felt more love, more self-worth, more truth, more compassion, more peace. And that to me is like the drive now, which has opened up so many more avenues. It's crazy.
So what were the sort of conditions that made that happen? I mean, were they COVID related? Do you think the pressures of COVID? Or the COVID environment that we all lived through?
Yeah. So growing up, it was like when I when we did G3, I had this big attachment, like I said earlier in the podcast. It was like this attachment of G3 was like everything to me. And then someone's just come and gone, no, it's not. I'm standing there.
Yeah.
Fuck, what are you talking about?
What's left?
Oh, I've got to look inside now.
Yeah.
I've got to actually check in on who I am now that I can put the business on hold, because that was the distraction.
Yes.
And people do use that. Yeah. Business as a distraction of like, I am my business. You know, it's like, no, you are you operating for your business.
Whoa. That's a big topic, eh? So do you think people hide behind their business?
Not necessarily hide. They use that as the driver to life.
Yes. Okay.
And I disagree. I think it is a part of your life.
Yes.
It is not your whole life. You know, you've got other things in life that when you look back, guarantee that isn't going to be as big as your family, your partner, your life. You know?
Yes.
So that was when good old Gladdy wanted to take the business away. It gave me an opportunity to look within myself. And I never forget being so emotionally high and emotionally low every time she would say COVID rises up, COVID cases down, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I can't allow this girl to continue dictating how I feel through a screen.
So did you feel like you're a puppet on a string almost?
100%. Yeah? And now the business is closed. I've got an opportunity to like, what am I going to do with this time?
Yeah.
Are you going to numb yourself by food, I don't know, alcohol, whatever, or actually you're going to actually get to work? And it gave me a turn. I've read, I think in the first COVID lockdown, I read 11 books.
Yeah, right.
And just dive deep. And there was this one book that just kept sticking out, and it landed in my lap. And yeah, it's called The Celestine Prophecy, if anyone wants to know. Yes. And it was about a guy that goes on a journey to Peru and finds the 8 insights of the world. He doesn't have a name in the book because you are the adventurer. Yeah. So it's like every time I read it, I dived into this adventure of like going through Peru, finding just the 8 insights of the world. You know, insight 1, no such thing as a coincidence. Like that's the sort of like the journey that it went on. And it just literally knocked me for 10. I'll never forget doing a video being like, I don't know what the fuck is happening to me. Can somebody help me? Because I was detaching from my mind, and I was just becoming, I was feeling everything. And and then a guy over in Perth was like, can you give me a call? And he randomly found the video. He's like, I gave him a call. He's like, dude, do you feel this, this, and this? And this, and this? And I'm like, yes. He's like, welcome home.
Yeah, right.
And I went, what do you mean? It was the first time I felt heard. Shout out to Mark Mack, the man himself.
So kindred spirit had arrived.
He found the video and was like, dude, can you just give me a call? In Perth, one of my best mates now. And he was the guy that put me onto a spiritual coach who then started to teach me detach from thoughts. Your thoughts are not you, they're a thought. And I started to realize that there was a part of me that wasn't just here, you know? So it was pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And that led you to Colombia, didn't it?
It led me to the jungle. That's correct.
So what was that all about? Tell us about that journey.
Yeah. So ayahuasca is a plant and a leaf that's mixed in, and it's like gone back hundreds and hundreds of years. And they talk about psilocybin, which is mushrooms, acid, and like all these different things. And like with drugs, like they've dabbled in them, you know, growing up, whatever, but it was never a thing, you know. Yeah. And then stumbled across this guy, long story short, that was listening to a podcast, and it felt right, and we connected, and next thing you know, I've booked my 30th birthday in the jungle.
In the jungle in Colombia.
And I'm talking jungle. Hammocks.
Really?
Tin roof. You go shit and wee in the bush.
Yeah.
And the thought of it, thinking mind, was like, you've got kids, you've got a business, you're going to Colombia, you've met this guy, and don't get me wrong, me and this guy, beautiful human, he's guided me through some portals.
Yeah.
But the feeling, once again, it felt too right.
Yeah, yeah.
And they say with ayahuasca, the plant finds you.
Yeah, right.
So just all stars aligned. 30th birthday, he booked I think 6 men. And then the funny thing was, he hurt his shoulder and he cancelled on all 5 men. And I kept messaging him going, dude, I paid the deposit. Like, what are we doing? I've got to book my flights. And he's like, can you call me? I called him. I said, Sean, what's going on?
Yeah.
And the second he got on the phone, I just felt this energy of like trying to explain himself. And I'm like, Sean, can you stop feeling expected right now? I said, if I'm not supposed to come, I understand the plant finds me. So if I'm not supposed to come, I
Wow.
get it. And he turns around and he goes, oh, okay, you understand. This is why you're supposed to come. You and me one-on-one.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, well, there we go. So, yeah, 3 nights in the drink. We ended up only doing 2 because the third night wasn't needed.
Yeah.
Drink at 8 p.m. Mind you, it was just me and Sean and another guy that were American, and the rest of them were Colombians, couldn't speak English. You drink at 8 p.m. and you're purging, vomiting, pooping for 12 hours till 8 a.m. You go home, you eat, sleep, do it again, do it again, do it again.
Really?
So it's 3 nights in the jungle. Tiger, like you can not, I don't know, tigers, but you can hear it.
Yeah, you can hear the animals around.
There's no Wi-Fi, put it that way.
So there was no regrets in doing what you did.
Oh no, it put me, it solidified the feeling I had 2 years prior to that.
Tell me about those.
So like the feeling of feeling like I had to be something for someone. I feeling like I had to be this identity, because it detaches you from the identity of self. You know, you go show up as this person. You know, I'm a dad, I'm a partner, I'm a son, I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm like, yeah, who are you though? So who are you talking about? I'm Matt. It's like, yeah, that's your name, but who are you? It's like, I'm Matt. It's like, no, there's a soul inside of you that you should start to connect with.
So you got to know yourself.
100%. And I thought I was going to get all these like lessons, and all I got was more self-love, self-worth within myself.
Yes.
And when I got home, like the girls hugged me, and I remember saying to Janae, like, you guys love me.
Wow.
And she's like, Matt, we've always loved you. She's like, you needed to open up that door to let us in.
Wow.
And I was like,
That's
that feeling has never left me since then.
That's beautiful.
So that's, pretty crazy.
So you love yourself much more than you did. Is that fair to say?
And just being not too, like, we're too hard on ourselves, man. Like, you fucked up. You made a wrong move. We all do. But when it's yourself, it's hard to, like, if you made a mistake to me, James, and you said, bro, I'd be like, bro, I love you. It's all good. But if you do it to yourself, it's like that little,
Yes.
are you fucking serious? Like that little voice where it's like, I detach from that. I was like, man, I'm doing the best I can here. And that's all I can do, you know?
Can I, this is going to sound negative, but spirituality and the journey, was that a selfish thing to do, Matt?
In the jungle.
Yeah.
It felt selfish before I left. But until I come back, I just knew that I had a beautiful partner. I'm like, you go. I've got the business. She actually locked me out of the businesses, so I couldn't even see anything. I didn't have, and she's like, and when I was leaving, I remember saying to her, like, because straight away the mind will kick in. And she's like, you're going to bring something back within yourself. And she's very spiritual. And she might not project it as much as me, but she is very aware of what's going on. She's here, but she's got a couple of other planets she lives on.
Yeah.
She goes, you're going to bring something back within yourself. This is before I left. You're going to bring something back within yourself that you're going to show these girls. So you go do what you got to do. I was like, are you sure?
That's amazing, eh?
And it did. It just really made me slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down. Like they say, smell the trees, be here now.
Yeah.
And I'm still forever learning the lessons of, like, I'll still get on my phone early. I'll still watch porn. I'll still do this. I'll still do that. But then I know when I see it, I come back and go, just be here now.
So you know yourself a lot better.
That they say you can either do an ayahuasca journey or you can do 10 years of meditating and you're going to get the same result.
Yeah, right.
So I just took the fast track.
Yeah.
A lot easier. Well,
typical Matt Gamble.
Yeah.
Huh? Set a bar and then set another bar.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So, thank you so much for sharing that story with us. That's very powerful. Yeah. And you know, I often talk about business owners needing to be a little bit selfish because I think, you know, you're right. I think you put it well. We tend to run ourselves down and be hard on ourselves. Not all of us, but, you know, it is a bit of a trait, I think, particularly in people that, you know, want to continuously improve. And it's fine to, you know, to sort of, you know, put pressure on oneself. But, it can create, a situation was not always positive on oneself.
Yeah.
So, you've taken us through a little bit of a journey there. That's
fucking
pretty
A.
amazing.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on with business and Matt Gamble now? I understand that you're cooking up a new gig that might be kind of interesting. Can you tell us a bit about
For
that?
sure. So this is probably another thing to tie in that Colombia trip. So when I was in Colombia, I journaled everything. The first night in the drink, it was very beautiful.
Yeah.
And I was standing in Penrith in an open arcade looking up, and I journaled it. And when I got home, I shared my journal with Janae, and first thing she's like, we can't build a gym there. It's right across the road from G3. Why would we move a gym right there? Little did we know 18 months later, it was the start of a new adventure.
Yeah.
So after that journey, it really instilled into me this passion of helping people. I'm not going to say on a spiritual level. I would rather say I love the physical realm because G3 is very physical and mental.
Yes.
But I like the emotional, spiritual side of things of like, this all ties into life. Like you can become a lot, like let's fill up all the cups.
Yes.
And that's what really tied me in, emotionally and spiritually, mentally, physically. Like let's get them all juiced up.
Yeah.
So I was in the shower and it just come. It was like, you're going to build a place called Unwind with the Infinity logo. That's all. And I wrote it on the window shower. Once again, this was probably after the journey, probably maybe 6 months. Because I went to the jungle 2 years ago. So probably 6 months after. Wrote it. And it was just like, and Janae, I got out of the shower and Janae's like, where are we going to find the money for that? I'm like, I don't know. We're building a place called Unwind. It's got the Infinity logo. It looks good. So then rather than just letting it play out, this is what I talk about letting go. I've gone on this journey to find it.
Yes.
Tried to tee up with some people, looked at some locations. Yeah, we'll do blah, 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 blah. And it's just roadblock. Let it all go. Shared the vision with a couple people. And then the vision sort of landed in Geordie's lap.
Yes.
And Geordie had a vision himself about a feeling of like Penrith needs a place like this.
Yeah.
And I had an office in the open arcade where I was in the jungle looking up. I had an office there. We had a meeting, shared him my side of the vision. He shared his side and he goes, let's do it.
Yeah, right.
And I was just like, okay, beautiful wife, Jess, she trains at G3 Blacksland.
Yes.
And she was just like, we'll do it. Once again, backing,
Yeah.
get a real good, he's been in business a little bit older than me and he's been in amazing fire protection business, very, very well matured in business, gets it, understands, which is a big thing when it comes to new businesses. And he goes, let's do it. So then it was the exact same feeling as Janae with like, let's do it. It just, how did this happen? and then we just started expanding. And then little did we know the location that it is was where I was standing looking up.
Wow.
The exact spot. And I've got it written in a journal in my home.
That's
like, you want to
amazing.
talk about stories? If that doesn't solidify that there is a power out there, pretty sure that will.
There's something around looking down, eh?
Seriously.
Yeah.
And the reason I was looking up is because it's on a first floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Unwind Studios, it's going to be a place, it's a recovery space, but it runs a lot deeper than the sauna and the ice baths. We're going to have men's groups, so men's nights, women's nights. It's going to give people an opportunity to find more about themselves, similar to me when I've gone on my journey.
Yes. Yes.
Gives us a time to be away from these little things because you've got to be present in a sauna.
Yes.
And I feel as though I'm going to say our area, everyone's fighting to become something.
Yes.
Which just leaves you feeling empty, where this place is going to be a place to learn how to be you. Yes. And detach from this identity and be more present with like-minded people. It's very calm, cool, collective. We've got a hot room where we'll do hot abs, hot yoga, hot glutes, give everyone that feeling, and then have the 25-minute sauna, ice baths, hot baths, big common space.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting for Penrith, eh?
Yeah. And once again, it's community, and I say this, and I feel as though I deserve to be the person to be able to build this from what I've done. And I know that might sound from an ego perspective, but I feel as though I have the power within myself through the things I've been through and experiences and lessons and self-development to be able to pass this on to people.
I didn't feel the ego. I felt determination.
Yeah.
And I felt without you saying it, although you've described it ahead of the time, I felt you've got a vision that you want to see come to reality. And how are you placed to do that, having been in business to date, do you think? I mean, what will you do? You know, what are the key elements of bringing that baby to life, do you reckon?
Unwind. I feel like G3 was an apprenticeship and Unwind's like the diploma. Because once again, you learn all the lessons and you start to see things differently.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very much driven off community and people. Like everything that I can see what G3 does for people, but amplified.
Yes.
And this is the thing, when it comes to G3, it's like, you hate to say it, but like even Tesco and all, like it's very cultural because it's like a cult.
Yeah,
people don't want to say it, but it is. It's like you say to people, you don't understand the feeling when you go in there. Like you just feel a part of it.
You can't replicate it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have all these little cults in Penrith. And I want to build the mega cult to show you all you can stay loyal to your guys.
Yes.
But come here and connect with other people, because I guarantee the story you've got telling yourself about this other gym owner is not real. How about I build and put a big blanket over everyone and show everyone that we can all connect by still staying true to your gyms, because it's going to be driven off a lot of fitness and, people that train will come there.
Yes.
But just other people connecting and businesses connecting, like network outs and, all this stuff. It's like give people a place where they can bring their team but be a part of a bigger team. And I'm so grateful that I'm in a business position with Geordie and Jess and obviously Janae. It's like a real strong team that their vision is bigger than that. They're like, Geordie's like, let's blow this bad boy up. Like, let's build this one and then go again and again, because every area can have a place like this to go to.
Yeah.
Football teams, gyms, community, network, it'll be a one-stop shop. And I'm very excited. And
it seems that you're going to cover physical, mental, and spiritual, right? In a sense, in terms of the offering, yeah.
Well, if I did a men's group and said to a bunch of men, hey, boys, we're going to come in here and we're going to sit around in a big circle. We're going to talk about how we feel. Who the fuck's rocking up? Seriously.
Yeah, no,
because straight away it goes, fuck that. I'm not sitting there telling you how I feel.
Matt, you'll be there on your own.
Exactly.
And you can
have fun.
You can laugh at yourself.
Don't order too much food because only you eat. But if I build a place where men can come once a week on a Friday afternoon, had a big week, and they just know that they get to come there, you're in the sauna, you're in the ice baths, you're laughing with a bunch of boys, you're not at the pub drinking, this is the new pub. And it is true. People are starting, like you said, people are starting to realize health and well-being is becoming a thing.
Yes.
More than just physical. And then you're in the sauna and you've been there for a couple of weeks and you're just like talking to a guy that's been the last 3 weeks, like, how's your day, man? It's like, yeah, fuck, not that good, eh? It's like, oh, what do you mean? What's been happening? It's like, a fucking business, this, blah, blah. It's like, oh, man, you know what's funny? I fucking had that happen to me too. Yeah. Everyone's connecting and we're not hiding behind these little devices. Because if you're in a coffee shop these days and you're in the line and you're not in your phone, you look like a weirdo.
Yeah, you do.
How dare you look around the room?
No, you should be looking down, right?
100%. So this is an opportunity where we scrap the phones for a couple of hours. Once again, place to free people from concern. Once again, that's the drive. Yeah. Put your phone away. Put all the shit downstairs. Come up the stairs. Do a sauna. Do a hot abs. Go put yourself in a difficult state of jumping in one of those cold plunges.
Yes.
And you're going to have some boys there backing you, or girls.
Yes.
Girls are stoked about hot glutes and the girls' nights.
Of course they are.
Fuck, that's a whole different. I'm on my side. I'm staying on the boys' side. The girls are like, that's already like a thing. Like there's already so many females from Penrith. Like, you don't understand how excited I am. I've got mates that are husbands that have already said, I cannot wait to allow my wife to know that she gets to go on a Thursday night with a bunch of women and do her thing.
Yeah. I'll
look after the kids, and then Friday night I get to do that.
Yeah, right.
And because men aren't around like-minded men as much as they should be.
No, I love that. And I mean, this is a very functional description. It's mine. I don't want to, don't want to not do it justice, but I see it as capacity building for the community, right? A really strong community, business community, private community in Western Sydney is one that connects. And, I had the pleasure of being interviewed by Nikkei not too long ago, a couple of weeks over this table, where I was in your chair, and he said, James, what we're about here in Western Sydney is giving everyone a seat at the table. And I think it's facilities like this that I'm excited about, right? Because it does, it traverses across all sorts of circles, and it brings that together and allows it to just find its natural sort of flow, I guess, really. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And when are we going to see it, Matt?
Yeah. We're in the fit out process.
Yeah,
so we're looking around the October period. We would have been open already, but we made some changes. We want to get it right. So we had everything good to go, and then Jess, Geordie's wife, she's an interior designer, so she came in and just did what females do best.
Yeah. They design.
And me and Geordie looked at each other and went, we can't. We're gonna have to do this.
Yeah,
so,
you can't say no.
Yeah, there's some cheeky secret doors and curved walls now that just it gives it the women touch that they're good at. So should be around October. And like my biggest thing now is this year I've been learning to just let go, because we've had this space for a year now.
Yeah.
So a big lesson for me this year is patience and letting go of thinking that when it should open.
It'll
as long
open.
as I energetically move. And once it opens, it's not going to close. And I know how fucking busy we're going to be. So in my head, I'm like, go to Perth, go and enjoy Ty's flight in August.
Yeah, exactly.
Knowing that once you get back, you've got G3, you've got Unwind, and you're going to blow this.
You're going to be
bad boy
full
out.
on.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I'm so excited once again to bring people together and to show people that just be you, man.
Yes.
Because that's the thing. I get people at G3 now. They'll come in for their first session and they're telling me this. And I'm like, that's great. Just be you. And then they start to realize that I'm me, regardless of what you thought I was when you looked at the Instagram and the businesses and this, that. It's like, bro, I'm just a kid from Western Sydney having a crack.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to put my kids 10 steps ahead the way I had it.
Love it.
So if they can start 10 steps ahead than what I had it, that's the reason why. So giving people an opportunity of like, whatever you think it looks like on Instagram, you've just built a perception of this person. Wait until you meet them in person in here and realize that we're all just being the best we can. So
Yeah, I love that. Is there one particular legacy that you want to leave when you go to another place, even though that you've sort of been to another place already? But if I was at your funeral, for instance, and you'd probably be at mine before I'll be at yours, but you never know, right? We're only a day away, potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, and people were talking about you. What would you like them to be talking
He
about?
really cared.
Yeah.
He really consistently cared, because that's the thing. We've got one chance here, and I don't want to ever be looking back on my deathbed going, fuck, man. Like my biggest fear, and it's been spoken about through other podcasts and it's stuck true to me, is that when I die and I meet the person I was supposed to be,
Yes.
I want to be twins, if not better than that person.
Yeah.
I don't want to meet a version of me and go on, you nearly got there, you're just 70%, and this person, this is what you could have done in your lifetime. It's like time stops for no one. What are we doing? Let's actually give this a solid, let's open up as many possibilities in our life and share as much love and peace and compassion. And yeah, my biggest thing is knowing that he actually cared, and he was in my corner.
So Matt Gamble striving for completeness.
Yeah, 100.
Essentially.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. My biggest fear is meeting that person and not being their twin.
Yeah, right.
Because if I meet them and they're a better version than me and I had a chance, it's like,
You'll be disappointed.
yeah, you wasted some time. So
Hey, Matt, thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Business
thank
podcast.
you, man. Appreciate it.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate having you, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And appreciate everything you're doing for the area, man. Like your face is popping up everywhere. Everyone's like, who you got a podcast with, James? I said, yeah, there you go. You're known as
Not that old.
No, you're known as the James in Penrith. Like they're like, James Price. I said, yeah, they go, I've seen that lad. Yeah, some of the boys this morning. So I was like, yeah. Thank you for everything you're doing for the area. You're instilling, like I said, you're bringing that father figure forward, that energy of like, I've got your back and I've been here for longer. Let me guide you in a certain direction. There's so many people out there that would feel that feeling of that older male version that they might not have possibly had in their life. That's what you bring forward.
Well, I really appreciate those words. I tell you, it's just an absolute satisfaction to me to be able to see guys and girls wanting to have a crack and be able to, give them a little bit of guidance or support or confidence, right? To make them, feel like they can do what they want to do. It's fun.
It is.
It's good.
How beautiful is watching the transition of someone going, we spoke a year ago and you told me that you weren't going to do this and now look at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can tell that that's your juice right there.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Love that.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers.